Have you ever felt like no matter how much you give, it's never enough? Like the demands of others keep growing, pulling you in every direction, leaving you exhausted, drained, and wondering, when do I get to breathe? As we grow older, the weight of expectations can feel heavier than ever. Friends, family, even acquaintances seem to think they're entitled to our time, our energy, even our personal choices. But here's the truth. You are not an endless well of giving. It's time to change that narrative. In today's video, we're diving into a perspective-shifting wisdom from Buddhism, one that teaches us the power of mindful detachment, not as a way to shut people out, but as a way to protect your peace, reclaim your boundaries, and nurture your well-being. We'll explore how setting limits, dealing with toxic relationships, and embracing solitude can actually lead to more joy, clarity, and deep fulfillment in your golden years. And here's the most surprising part. Learning to be a little cold in the right ways. It doesn't make you distant or unkind. It makes you stronger. It makes you freer. And ultimately, it allows you to live warmer, with intention, with presence, and with the peace you truly deserve. So if you're ready to step into this next chapter of life with more balance, more self-respect, and more you, stick around. This might just change the way you see yourself and the world around you. Let's begin. The illusion of endless giving. Being kind and generous is a beautiful trait, but as the Buddha once said, you yourself, as much as anybody in the entire universe, deserve your love and affection. The problem is, many of us spend our lives giving to others while forgetting to give to ourselves. Think about it. How many times have you said yes to something, even when you didn't want to? How often have you found yourself exhausted, drained, and resentful because you felt obligated to be available for everyone? This isn't compassion, it's self-neglect. In Buddhism, the concept of up-ka, or equanimity, teaches us that true kindness doesn't come from overextending ourselves until we have nothing left to give. Instead, it comes from a place of balance, where we protect our own energy so that we can offer genuine love and support when it truly matters. A perfect example of this is the story of an old master and his disciple. The disciple, always eager to help, would run to everyone who called his name, taking on their burdens as his own. One day, exhausted, he collapsed before his master. The master smiled and handed him a bowl with a hole at the bottom. "Fill this with water," he instructed. The disciple tried, but the water leaked out endlessly. "You are like this bowl," the master said. "Until you fix the hole, you will never be full enough to give." This is the lesson. You cannot pour from an empty cup. And that means sometimes the most compassionate thing you can do is say no. Many people struggle with this concept because they equate saying no with rejection or selfishness. But the truth is, setting limits allows you to be more present and engaged when you do choose to give. Think of it as pruning a tree. Cutting away the excess branches doesn't weaken the tree. It makes it stronger, allowing it to grow in a healthier and more sustainable way. Let's take the example of Sarah, a retired nurse who spent decades caring for others. Even in retirement, she found herself constantly saying yes to every request, watching the neighbors' pets, volunteering at multiple charities, helping her grown children with their errands. At first, she felt useful, but over time she became physically exhausted and emotionally drained. Her health began to suffer, and she started feeling resentful toward the very people she loved. One day, during a mindfulness retreat, a Buddhist monk told her, "True generosity is giving without resentment." That struck a chord. Sarah realized that she had been giving from a place of obligation, not joy. She started setting small boundaries, limiting her volunteer hours, politely declining unnecessary commitments, and making more time for herself. And something miraculous happened. She actually felt more energized and happy when she did give, because she was doing it on her own terms. The world doesn't fall apart when you say no. People adjust, and in many cases they even learn to respect you more. Another powerful Buddhist analogy to consider is the candle. A candle that burns too brightly without pause will melt away quickly, leaving nothing behind. But a candle that is tended to, with moments of rest between each burn, will last much longer, providing warmth and light for an extended period. The same applies to you. If you constantly give without replenishing yourself, you'll burn out before you can truly make a meaningful impact. It's also important to recognize that not everyone who asks for your time or energy genuinely needs it. Some people are energy vampires, those who take and take without ever giving back. They thrive on your willingness to accommodate and rarely consider how their demands affect you. Learning to identify these individuals and set firm boundaries with them is an act of self-preservation, not selfishness. The next time someone asks you for something, take a breath before answering. Ask yourself, do I truly have the energy for this? Is this request aligned with my own well-being? Will saying yes make me feel fulfilled, or will it deplete me? If the answer leans toward exhaustion, then a simple, "I'd love to help, but I need to take care of myself right now," is more than enough. Ultimately, embracing a healthy detachment from the need to be constantly available is an act of wisdom. You were not put on this earth to be a bottomless well of energy for others. You are allowed to rest, to prioritize your well-being, and to give only when it feels right. And in doing so, you ensure that when you do offer your kindness, it comes from a place of true compassion, one that is abundant, not depleted. Remember, a life of balance is a life of harmony. When you honor your own needs, you create the space to give meaningfully rather than out of sheer obligation. So take a deep breath, listen to your inner wisdom, and give yourself permission to embrace the power of saying no. The art of setting boundaries without guilt. For many, setting boundaries feels unnatural, especially if you've spent your life being the one others rely on. But let's reframe it. Saying no is not rejection, it's self-respect. Imagine an old monk meditating by a river. A frantic villager rushes to him, shouting about a crisis. The monk doesn't move. The villager grows frustrated, demanding he act immediately. The monk finally speaks. "If I rush with you in panic, will that help solve the problem?" The villager, realizing the wisdom in his words, takes a deep breath and regains his composure. This story highlights a crucial truth. Panic doesn't solve problems, and neither does constantly saying yes at your own expense. Often, we believe that our worth is tied to how much we do for others. But true compassion isn't about sacrificing yourself. It's about giving from a place of strength and balance. Let's consider Margaret, a retired teacher. She spent decades nurturing students, always available, always willing to help. In retirement, she thought she'd finally have time for herself, but instead, she found herself pulled in every direction, watching her grandkids full-time, helping neighbors with errands, even mentoring new teachers. At first, she felt useful, but soon, exhaustion set in. She missed her morning walks. She never had time for her own reading. She felt more drained than she had during her teaching years. One day, a friend gave her a simple yet profound piece of advice. "Margaret, you don't have to be available just because someone asks." It was a revelation. She started small, declining extra babysitting hours, politely excusing herself from unnecessary obligations. At first, guilt gnawed at her, but then she noticed something remarkable. The world didn't fall apart. Her family adjusted. Her friends still loved her, And most importantly, she felt lighter, more present, more at peace. Setting boundaries isn't about shutting people out. It's about ensuring that when you do show up, you do so fully, not out of obligation, but from a place of love and choice. Rushing to solve every issue is not the path to wisdom. Instead, practice mindful detachment. When someone asks too much of you, pause before answering. Give yourself permission to assess whether this request aligns with your well-being. If you feel drained after an interaction, limit your exposure to that person. Protecting your peace is an act of self-care, not selfishness. When someone pries into your personal matters, offer a neutral response. I'm managing just fine. Thank you. You are not obligated to share more than you're comfortable with. Another essential aspect of setting boundaries is recognizing manipulative guilt. Some people, intentionally or not, use guilt as a tool to get what they want. They may say things like, "But I need you," or "You're the only one who can help." While it's good to help when you genuinely can, it's equally important to recognize when someone is taking advantage of your kindness. A wise monk once told a story of a man carrying a basket of stones. The man kept picking up more and more stones, thinking it was his duty to collect them. Eventually, the weight became unbearable, and he collapsed. A passerby asked, "Why did you carry so many?" The man replied, "I thought it was my responsibility." The passerby shook his head. "You were never meant to carry them all." This is the reality of life. Many of us carry burdens that aren't ours to bear. We say yes to every request, every obligation, every emotional weight. But here's the truth. You are not responsible for carrying everything. You have the right to set down some of those stones. Boundaries are a form of ahimsa, non-harming. By protecting your peace, you ensure that when you do give, it's from a place of strength, not depletion. When you begin to say no without guilt, you free yourself to say yes to what truly matters, to time with loved ones that feels fulfilling, to moments of solitude that nourish your soul, to experiences that bring you joy. At the end of the day, setting boundaries is an act of self-care, an assertion of your worth. So the next time you feel obligated to say yes, pause. Ask yourself, is this request serving my well-being? Am I saying yes because I truly want to, or because I feel guilty? If it's the latter, remember your peace is precious. Protect it. Dealing with toxic people gracefully. Not everyone deserves a front row seat in your life. We've all encountered those who drain our energy. The chronic complainers, the manipulators, the ones who take but never give. Buddhism teaches us that while we should cultivate compassion, we must also practice discernment. Lao Tzu wisely said, "Care about what other people think, and you will always be their prisoner." If someone's presence consistently makes you feel anxious or depleted, you have permission to distance yourself. You don't have to engage, you don't have to justify. A simple, "I have other priorities right now," is enough. But let's be honest, it's not always easy to walk away. Sometimes the most toxic people in our lives are those we feel obligated to keep around. Old friends, family members, colleagues, even people we once trusted, but who now bring nothing but stress. Take the story of Daniel, a retired firefighter. For years he had a friend named Mark, someone he had known since childhood. Mark was the type who always had a problem, always needed a favor, always expected Daniel to drop everything and come running. At first Daniel didn't mind. That's what friends do, right? But over time he noticed that Mark never reciprocated. Whenever Daniel needed a hand, an ear, or a moment of support, Mark was nowhere to be found. Worse, Mark's constant negativity made Daniel feel drained every time they spoke. One day, after another exhausting call, Daniel sat in silence and reflected on how he felt, heavy, resentful. He realized that every interaction left him more depleted than before. It was time to change. The next time Mark called, Daniel didn't pick up right away. Instead, he took a breath and asked himself, "Do I really want to engage in this right now?" The answer was clear. Slowly, Daniel started setting boundaries. He stopped answering immediately. He stopped over-explaining. He stopped saying yes when he wanted to say no. At first, Mark resisted, pushing, guilt-tripping, demanding, but eventually he backed off. And Daniel, he felt lighter, freer, at peace. The lesson here? Some people will take as much as you let them. You are not responsible for carrying their burdens, especially when they refuse to carry their own. Detaching from toxic relationships isn't cruelty, it's self-preservation. Now, what about those toxic people you can't completely remove from your life? A difficult coworker, a manipulative relative, a neighbor who always stirs up drama. In these cases, practice loving detachment. A Buddhist monk once told a story of a scorpion struggling in the water. A kind man reached in to save it, but the scorpion stung him. He tried again, and again he was stung. A passerby asked, "Why do you keep trying? Don't you see it will only hurt you?" The man replied, "It is the scorpion's nature to sting, but it is my nature to help." The lesson? You can remain kind, but you must also be wise. Some people will never change, but you can change how you interact with them. Keep conversations brief. Set limits on how much time you spend together. Don't engage in unnecessary conflicts. And most importantly, don't take their negativity personally. If someone is toxic, it's not a reflection of you, it's a reflection of them. Another strategy, gray rocking. This technique involves making yourself as uninteresting as possible to toxic individuals. They thrive on drama, on reactions, on drawing you into their chaos. But if you remain neutral, non-reactive, and detached, they eventually lose interest. Picture a woman named Linda. Every time she visited her sister, she braced herself for an avalanche of gossip, complaints, and criticism. One day she decided to try something new. Instead of engaging, she responded with vague, neutral replies. "Oh, interesting. I see. That's one way to look at it." No opinions, no reactions, no emotional fuel for the fire. Slowly the sister lost interest in baiting her, and Linda was able to reclaim her peace. Dealing with toxic people gracefully is about reclaiming your energy. It's about understanding that you are not obligated to entertain negativity, nor do you need to fix people who don't want to change. So the next time someone drains you, step back, take a breath, ask yourself, do I want to give this person my energy? If the answer is no, then give yourself permission to walk away, physically, emotionally, or mentally. And if you take away just one thing from this, protect your peace. Not everyone deserves access to your heart and mind. Guard them wisely. Solitude, the path to inner peace. In a world obsessed with socializing, choosing solitude can feel radical. But the Buddha himself spent years in solitude before reaching enlightenment. Solitude is not loneliness. It is the space where you reconnect with yourself, where you hear your own thoughts instead of the noise of others. Think of the ocean at the surface. There are waves, chaotic, restless, but deep below the water is still. When you embrace solitude, you learn to reside in that stillness. Take time each day to be alone. Meditate, walk in nature, read. These small acts will help you cultivate santosha, contentment with what is, rather than constantly seeking external validation. But solitude is not just about escaping the world, it's about returning to yourself. Many people fear being alone because they associate it with isolation or irrelevance. But solitude is a gift, an opportunity to rediscover who you are beneath the roles you play for others. Consider the story of Thomas, a retired engineer who had spent decades in the hustle and bustle of corporate life. After retiring, he found himself at a loss. His calendar, once filled with meetings, deadlines, and obligations, was suddenly empty. He felt restless, as if his worth had vanished with his busy schedule. One evening, his wife suggested he take a quiet walk by the lake near their home. Reluctantly, he went. At first, the silence felt uncomfortable. He reached for his phone, craving distraction. But then something shifted. He noticed the ripples on the water, the way the leaves rustled in the wind, the rhythmic sound of his own breath. In that moment, he felt something he hadn't felt in years: peace. Thomas began taking daily walks. Then he started journaling. Slowly he found joy in his own company. He realized that he was not just a retired engineer. He was a person with thoughts, dreams, and wisdom still unfolding. Solitude became his sanctuary, a space where he could listen to himself again. This is the power of solitude. It strips away the noise and reminds you that you are enough, just as you are. Another powerful example comes from Buddhist monastic life. Monks spend long periods in solitude, not because they reject society, but because they understand that true clarity comes from within. The great Zen master Thich Nhat Hanh once said, "To be alone does not mean to be lonely, it means to be with oneself." This distinction is crucial. When you learn to enjoy solitude, you no longer feel the need to fill every moment with conversation or distraction. Yet, embracing solitude requires courage. It means facing thoughts you may have buried under years of busyness. It means confronting emotions that rise to the surface when the distractions fade away. But within that discomfort lies profound growth. Think of solitude as tending to a garden. At first, the silence may feel overwhelming, like an overgrown landscape, wild and untamed. But with patience, you begin to clear the weeds of external expectations, plant seeds of self-reflection, and nurture the soil of your inner world. Over time, this garden flourishes, blooming with insight, peace, and self-awareness. To cultivate solitude, start small. Set aside 10 minutes each morning for silent reflection. Take a walk without your phone. Observe the world around you. Practice deep breathing or mindfulness meditation. Write down your thoughts in a journal. Let them flow without judgment. Over time, you'll notice a shift. You'll crave less external validation. You'll feel more centered, more in tune with your intuition. And most importantly, you'll realize that you are whole on your own. Society often tells us that being busy means being important, that always being surrounded by people means being loved. But the truth is, your worth is not measured by how much you do or how many people you surround yourself with. Your worth is inherent, and solitude helps you remember that. So the next time you feel the pressure to fill your schedule, to be constantly on, pause. Ask yourself, am I avoiding silence because I fear what I might find? If the answer is yes, then perhaps solitude is exactly what you need, because in the quiet, you will find yourself, and in finding yourself, you will find peace. Final thoughts. The wisdom of coldness. So, is being cold truly a bad thing? Not at all. In fact, the right kind of coldness is what allows you to live warmly, to love deeply, and to give meaningfully without depleting yourself. Detachment doesn't mean shutting people out. It means choosing where your energy flows. It's about understanding that your time, your peace, and your well-being are sacred. Too often, we exhaust ourselves trying to be everything for everyone, only to realize that in doing so, we've neglected the most important person, ourselves. But when you embrace the wisdom of mindful detachment, you reclaim your power. As the Dalai Lama once said, remember that sometimes not getting what you want is a wonderful stroke of luck. This doesn't just apply to our own desires, but to the expectations others place on us. You don't have to meet everyone's demands. You don't have to explain your choices. You don't have to hold on to relationships that no longer nurture your soul. Let them walk their own path. Let go of the need to please. Prioritize your peace, because when you do, you'll find that what remains, the relationships, the commitments, the moments, is truly meaningful. And if this message resonated with you today, I'd love to hear your thoughts. What lesson are you taking away from this? Share your reflections in the comments below. I read every single one. If you haven't yet, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you never miss a new video. Your support means the world, and together we can continue exploring the wisdom that helps us lead more peaceful, fulfilling lives. And remember, protecting your peace is not selfish. It's an act of love. Thank you for watching, and until next time, stay mindful, stay present, and most of all, stay true to yourself.